Hey, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to your ultimate destination for all things Dallas Cowboys. From the latest news, game analyses, rumors, to deep dives into player performances and strategies, we've got you covered. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a play. Let's dive into everything you need to know about America's team. The rumor hit like a thunderclap across the football conversation space, the kind that makes a YouTube host lean forward, lower the voice, and say this is the kind of story people whisper about behind closed doors. Word circulating among insiders suggests that MICAH Parsons, a name that already carries weight and mystique, could be on the verge of a shocking return to the Dallas Cowboys, not as just another piece, but as the unquestioned leader of the defense for a decisive showdown that everyone feels coming. What makes this rumor so explosive is the contrast with the public narrative, because officially MICAH Parsons is associated with the Green Bay Packers, operating as a linebacker within that historic franchise. Yet rumors do not care about official bios or tidy explanations. They thrive in the gray areas, and this one paints a picture of a player restless with his current surroundings, hungry for a stage that feels bigger, louder, and more personal. In whispered conversations, people talk about unfinished business, about a locker room in Dallas that still echoes with his name, and about a defense that allegedly lacks that single commanding voice capable of bending games through sheer presence. The idea being floated is not about contracts or paperwork, but about influence, about the emotional pull of returning to a place where expectations are brutal and glory is amplified. Fans are speculating that this is less a transfer and more a homecoming narrative, one fueled by pride, legacy, and a desire to prove something that statistics alone can never capture. As the story unfolds in hushed tones, the focus keeps circling back to leadership, because this rumor insists that MICAH Parsons would not be returning quietly or tentatively. The talk suggests he would step back into the Cowboys' environment as an absolute defensive general, someone whose voice sets the tempo in meetings, practices, and those tense moments before kickoff when belief matters as much as talent. Observers claim that within Green Bay, despite his undeniable skill, Parsons may have felt like one star among many, part of a system that values tradition over individual dominance. Dallas, in contrast, is portrayed as a place desperate for a singular defensive identity, someone who can embody aggression, speed, and intelligence all at once. The speculation paints vivid scenes of Parsons calling adjustments at the line, reading offenses with a veteran calm, and igniting teammates with an intensity that cameras can barely capture. It is said that defensive players respond differently when they believe someone truly has their back, and this rumor argues that Parsons carries that aura naturally. The idea is that his return would not just upgrade schemes, but transform mindset, turning hesitation into confidence. Even critics who doubt the logistics admit that emotionally, the story makes sense because football history is full of players drawn back to places where their name means something deeper than a roster spot. Another layer of this rumor that keeps YouTube commentators buzzing is the suggestion that timing is everything, and that this moment feels deliberately chosen. The decisive duel everyone hints at is not described in terms of standings or outcomes, but as a symbolic crossroads for the Cowboys' defense, a test of identity rather than a simple game. Insiders claim that conversations behind the scenes have revolved around urgency, about a sense that the window to redefine the defensive culture is open but not forever. Parsons, according to this speculation, understands this better than most, recognizing that opportunities to cement a legacy do not wait politely. The narrative being spun suggests that he has been studying the Cowboys' defense from afar, noting weaknesses, imagining himself plugging gaps both physical and psychological. There's talk of late-night film sessions, hypothetical alignments, and messages exchanged with former teammates that read less like small talk and more like reconnaissance. The rumor thrives on the idea that Parsons sees himself as the missing piece, the catalyst that turns potential into dominance. Whether true or not, it taps into the romantic side of sports storytelling, where preparation meets destiny and a single decision can redefine careers and seasons alike. What truly fuels the fire is how divided the reactions have been, because every great rumor needs believers and skeptics to survive. Supporters argue that MICAH Parsons has always thrived in environments where expectations are suffocating, where every play is dissected and every mistake magnified. They claim that Dallas, with its relentless spotlight, actually sharpens players like him, pushing them to heights they cannot reach elsewhere. Skeptics, however, question why a player associated with Green Bay would even consider stepping back into that storm, suggesting that comfort and stability often win over nostalgia. Yet the rumor counters this by portraying Parsons as anything but comfortable, describing a competitor who grows uneasy when things feel too safe. The speculation emphasizes that this is not about escaping something in Green Bay, but about chasing something in Dallas, a feeling of ownership and command that cannot be replicated. The more people argue, the stronger the rumor becomes, because disagreement keeps it alive, circulating through comment sections, podcasts, and late-night debates. In this sense, the story has already achieved power, regardless of its eventual outcome. As the narrative continues to spread, some voices point to MICAH Parsons' personal journey, framing this potential return as a chapter of self-definition rather than career management. The rumor suggests that he views his role not just as a linebacker, but as a tone setter, someone responsible for shaping how a defense thinks and reacts under pressure. In Green Bay, the system may be respected, but Dallas represents a canvas where individuality and leadership collide. The speculation imagines Parsons standing in front of the defense, speaking with authority earned through performance, not reputation alone. It paints a picture of a player who understands that defenses are built on trust, on the belief that the man next to you will do his job violently and intelligently. According to the whispers, Parsons believes he can instill that belief more effectively in Dallas, where the hunger for a defensive identity is palpable. Whether this is confidence or arrogance depends on who is telling the story, but either way it adds depth to the rumor. It transforms it from a transactional idea into a philosophical one, about where a leader feels most alive. By the time this first wave of speculation reaches its peak, the rumor has evolved into something larger than a simple return. It becomes a conversation about what it means to lead, to choose challenge over comfort, and to embrace a spotlight that exposes everything. MICAH Parsons, in this telling, is not running from his current role, but gravitating toward a moment that demands more of him. The Cowboys' defense is depicted as a sleeping giant, powerful but inconsistent, waiting for a voice strong enough to unify it. The idea that Parsons could be that voice resonates deeply with fans who crave narratives as much as victories. Even without confirmation, the rumor satisfies an emotional need, offering a storyline where purpose, legacy, and competition intersect. And in the world of sports content, especially on YouTube, that is often enough to keep people watching, listening, and believing, at least until the next whisper reshapes the story again. In the second part of this rumor-driven saga, the conversation shifts from why MICAH Parsons might return to the Cowboys to how such a move would ripple through the entire defensive structure in ways that go far beyond playbooks. Speculation suggests that his presence alone would immediately redefine roles, pushing some players into unfamiliar responsibilities while liberating others to focus purely on execution. The idea being floated is that Parsons commands attention from opposing offenses naturally, forcing coordinators to account for him on every snap, which in turn creates opportunities for teammates to shine. This rumor paints a vivid picture of confusion on the other sideline, of quarterbacks hesitating just a fraction longer, and of protection schemes bending under the weight of anticipation. Commentators argue that leadership at this level is not about speeches, but about gravity, and Parsons allegedly carries that gravity effortlessly. The Cowboys' defense, often described as talented but fragmented, would theoretically coalesce around a central figure whose energy sets the emotional temperature. Even critics who question the feasibility admit that the tactical implications are fascinating, because defenses rarely get to add not just a player, but a personality that alters how everyone thinks. The speculation also dives deep into the psychological warfare that such a return would represent, especially given MICAH Parsons' association with Green Bay. The rumor suggests that familiarity breeds intensity, that facing former colleagues or simply redefining one's narrative adds an edge that cannot be coached. In this telling, Parsons is portrayed as someone who internalizes doubt and converts it into fuel, using every raised eyebrow as motivation. The Cowboys, according to these whispers, would benefit from that mentality, absorbing his refusal to be underestimated. There's talk of practices becoming sharper, of accountability becoming unavoidable, because leaders like Parsons do not tolerate complacency. The idea is not that he would demand perfection, but that he would demand effort that matches potential. Fans imagining this scenario see a defense that plays faster, not because of scheme changes, but because belief accelerates reaction. This part of the rumor emphasizes that football is as much mental as physical, and that the right leader can tilt that balance decisively. Another thread in this speculation focuses on the broader league perception, suggesting that MICAH Parsons returning to the Cowboys would send a message that resonates far beyond one locker room. The rumor claims that rival teams would have to recalibrate their expectations, not because of a single matchup, but because of what the move symbolizes. It would signal that Dallas is willing to embrace bold identity shifts rather than incremental adjustments. Analysts imagine how media narratives would pivot, how discussions would frame the Cowboys' defense as aggressive, unpredictable, and emotionally charged. Parsons in this storyline becomes a lightning rod, attracting scrutiny but also respect. The whispers suggest that he understands this dynamic and welcomes it, believing that pressure clarifies purpose. This part of the rumor thrives on the idea that stars are not just measured by statistics, but by the way their decisions reshape conversations. Whether or not the return ever materializes, the mere possibility forces people to reconsider what leadership and ambition look like in a modern game. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The rumor then turns inward, speculating about MICAH Parsons' own mindset and how a return to Dallas could align with his long-term vision. According to those close to the situation, he is portrayed as someone deeply aware of narrative, of how careers are remembered rather than merely recorded. The idea is that Parsons sees Dallas as a stage where moments echo louder, where defining performances become part of collective memory. This speculation suggests that he values impact over comfort, choosing environments where success feels heavier because failure feels closer. The Cowboys, with their relentless attention, offer that duality in abundance. Supporters of this rumor argue that such an environment sharpens leaders, forcing them to confront themselves honestly. In this light, the potential return is framed as an act of self-challenge, a deliberate step into uncertainty for the sake of growth. It is a compelling angle, one that resonates with audiences who believe greatness requires risk. As the conversation continues, skeptics attempt to dismantle the rumor by pointing out logistical hurdles and conflicting affiliations, but believers counter that football history is filled with improbable turns. The speculation insists that when motivation aligns with opportunity, unexpected doors open. It suggests that relationships, trust, and mutual ambition can bend structures that seem rigid from the outside. This part of the rumor thrives on ambiguity, refusing to explain how or when, focusing instead on why it feels possible. In doing so, it invites fans to participate, to imagine scenarios, to argue passionately in comment sections and forums. That engagement becomes part of the story itself, fueling its longevity. The lack of concrete details does not weaken the rumor, it strengthens it, allowing imagination to fill gaps. By the end of this speculative second part, the rumor has fully transformed into a narrative about identity, leadership, and the magnetic pull of unfinished stories. MICAH Parsons, whether viewed as a current member of Green Bay or a potential returning force in Dallas, stands at the center of a conversation that transcends jerseys. The Cowboys' defense, portrayed as waiting for a catalyst, becomes the backdrop for a tale about choosing where one's voice matters most. This rumor does not promise outcomes or guarantees. It offers possibility. And in sports storytelling, possibility is often the most powerful currency. As long as fans can envision Parsons stepping into that role of absolute defensive leader, the story will continue to live, evolve, and spark debate, exactly as all great rumors do. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.